Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So, welcome everybody for today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 11. The title of this chapter is Manu advises Dhruva to stop fighting. So, here in this chapter, we'll be discussing about how Dhruva overcome the illusion created by the Yakshas, and he started killing all the Yakshas. And after that, when the situation comes into that phase, that not like soon the Yakshas will be extinct out of this planetary, like no this creation. At that point of time, Manu and along with other sages come to the place and they meet Dhruva, and then they they tell Dhruva to stop fighting. And there you will be able to see the instructions of Manu to Dhruva. And and finally, uh, this chapter ends with completion of Manu's instructions to Dhruva. Okay. So this chapter is very helpful, like as a devotees of Krishna, we sometimes take up to some activities, and in from our perspective, due to our emotional and social and uh, personal state of mind, that might seem right, but on the overall perspective, we might be wrong. So at that point of time, when we take the advice from exalted devotees, we become more dear to Krishna. We become, because whomever, whoever you may be, Krishna, for everybody is equal in front of Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Samoham sarva bhuteshu, name deshu asti na priye. Means there is nobody uh, dearer to me, and no, I hate nobody. But my special favor is towards my devotees. Okay. So basically, Lord favors Dhruva because he is a great devotee of the Lord. But at the same time, he doesn't like Dhruva killing innocent yakshas, innocent creatures. Okay. So in the previous chapter, we saw how Dhruva's brother Uttama and his picked up a fight with one Yaksha in the forest when he went for hunting, and that Yaksha kills the brother of Dhruva. So after Uttama's death, Dhruva performs his last rites and everything. And Uttama's mother, she becomes overwhelmed with grief. She goes out of the palace. She goes into the forest. And in the forest, she was caught up by the forest fire. So, and she was caught up by the forest fire, and she passes away. And it's a kind of forced death for both brother and mother. So this aggrieves Dhruva very much. And he thinks who is responsible for this calamity is the Yakshas. They unnecessarily kill my brother. So he goes and challenges single-handedly all the Yakshas. And he started fighting, and he started killing all the Yakshas. Then Yakshas realized that they cannot stop Dhruva on their own. So what they took up to the il illusions. No? They provided illusions such that no, from one side, all the wild animals like lions, tigers, and all those things are chasing after, coming fast to devour Dhruva. And from other side, all the demonic forces like are coming to uh, coming over Dhruva. And then from another side, there is a large ocean tides, waves of tsunami kind of thing was created from one another side. And another side, it was like all the different illusions, like great serpents and all those things, wild animals. Okay. So, and Dhruva, for momentarily, he gets bewildered. I don't know what to do. So at that point of time, the sages comes and thinking that Dhruva is falling into the trap of the illusions of these Yakshas. the sages comes and advises Dhruva Maharaj, you just remember Saranga Dhanva, means Lord Hari. Hmm. By doing so, you will be able to get out of this all the illusions. So that point of time, Dhruva remembers Lord Hari and he uses Narayana. And using Narayana, when he uses Narayana dispels all the illusions. And again, Dhruva started fighting with the Yakshas. And the Yakshas are on the losing end. They are fighting only for the sake of kind of ego. Okay, they know that they don't have any chance in front of Dhruva. So, but still they kept on fighting. So when this news was received by Svāyambhuva Manu, Svāyambhuva Manu was the grandfather of Dhruva. He's a great devotee of Lord. Okay, so he so when no I previously said, right, like Dhruva Maharaj, whoever Dhruva Maharaj was killing, they are physically uh, get killed, but spiritually they are promoted to the Brahma Loka. How can we understand this is why like how can we a devotee do some acts and how can Lord do anything about it is, see, when a parent like a devotee becomes like a dearest son of a wealthy father. Who is a wealthy father here? Lord Hari himself. So if a child, innocent child, goes and do some mischief on the neighbor's property or does some damage, then father becomes very sorry towards the neighbor, and he gives the compensation to them much greater in value, so that they won't be disappointed. And people in general also they won't get disappointed. So when Dhruva was killing Yakshas, even though it was not totally dharmic, but as a Kshatriya, if somebody challenges, the Dhruva has a right to engage in fight. That is Kshatriya Dharma. So generally, Kshatriyas, when they are killed, they are promoted to the heavenly planets. But here, what's happening is, all the Kshatriyas, all the Yakshas killed by Dhruva are getting directly promoted to the Brahmaloka. It is said that the pleasures in the Swargaloka are million times greater than the Bhuloka. And pleasures in Brahmaloka are million times greater than Swargaloka. So means they got double promotion in one shot. But any Rakshasas killed by Lord, they merge into the impersonal Brahman, which is million times greater than the pleasures in Brahmaloka also. So that way, like Vyasdeva writes, like how Lord is compensating the damage caused by Dhruva. So when this news reached to Svāyambhuva Manu, because even though they are going to higher destinations, they still have the right to live in this life, okay, in this planetary system, because they have certain karmas, they have certain uh, uh, afflictions like attachments and all those things, some certain desires. So in order to fulfill their desires, like it acts like Svāyambhuva Manu, like that's why killing of any animal, because every animal has to go through the law of karma, so that it will gradually progress towards the path of self-realization. By force, if you take somebody, he may take up something, but for example, somebody is not very much convinced with the philosophy. But we by force say, like some you see some Christian churches, they say, right, if you believe Jesus, you'll all your health issues are gone and you will be promoted to the heavenly planets. Means they are forcefully imposing that without proper conviction. So but what we can do in devotion service is we can inspire and educate and enlighten the person. Then that person, he himself will wholeheartedly take up the process of devotion service. And that kind of person can easily go back to Godhead. Otherwise, if some person takes up the bhakti or devotion service or the path of self-realization due to some selfish motives, when that selfish motives are not met, then that person will develop a negative impression on this path. Now I'm simply wasting my time. I would have enjoyed my life outside like others, like that. But when the same person is properly inspired and enlightened and educated, that person will take up with full conviction how the material nature is temporary. All the materialistic relations are uh, like waste of time. It's like one of the Vaishnava scholar, one of Vaishnava poet, he writes right now, whatever you investing your time on anything material for maintaining a name, fame, family, or prestige, or social or economical benefits, that time is like giving the time to the air. Means like just just wasting the time. If you use the same effort in serving the Supreme Lord or doing all the services as an offering to Krishna, then those are the real real valuable moments that we have in our life. That the real valuable moment that counts in our life for our spiritual advancement, which this they will add to the real wealth. Real wealth is which can never be taken by anybody, which can never be diminished. Because any bhakti sukruti we do, it will last for eternity. Means how many our lifetimes we may take, that will remains with us. That will not get destroyed. That is Amrita. It is not destroyed even when the destruction of body takes place. Because that credits are spiritual in nature. Anything spiritual will never be destroyed. Hmm? See, whatever when you go to temple, when you performing devotion service, we might be doing many things. For outsider, they may look like common material things, offering arti and offering respects, just the way they offer respects to the one materialist will offer to respect to another materialist. Hmm? Because you scratch my back, I scratch your back. You respect me, I respect you. If you don't respect me, I won't respect you. So that is the nature of the material scenario. But in the spiritual circles, we respect the devotees. Amanena manadena, without expectation of any results, any respect from others. Okay, and uh, and when we perform bhakti, that will that wealth of devotional service is eternal. So here, Dhruva Maharaj was killing, and Manu comes into the situation scene, and then Manu started advising Dhruva. Manu says, excessive anger. Manu says, seeing the many innocent yakshas being killed, Svāyambhuva Manu approached his grandson Dhruva Maharaj along with the many sages and spoke out of the compassion. Excessive anger is sinful. Even though enough is enough, please stop it. And excessive anger, atirosha, is sinful path of ignorance. Tamo dwaram papamana. You have already killed offenseless yakshas. No? This is not befitting for our dynasty and is condemned by the virtuous. It has been proven that you are affectionate to your brother and agreed about his death, but for the fault of one yaksha, you have killed so many others because of their connection. Okay, killing others' bodies due to bodily identification, like animals do, is not the path of sadhus. The Lord is the Lord, especially the Lord's followers. Rishi Keshanu Vartinam. So avoid this unnecessary killing. You are very fortunate that by worshipping Lord Hari, you are already destined to achieve Vaikuntha, which is difficult to attain, since every living entity is a residence or a temple of the Supreme Lord, Bhuteshwar. Unnecessary killing is not permitted. Means Swayambhuva was saying we should see the presence of Lord in the heart of every living entity. So Lord is like Swayambhuva says, I am surprised by your act because you are a pure devotee and always remembering the Lord and recognized by his devotees like Narada, and you are supposed to be an exemplary to others. So especially when we are devotees, not only we are representing our guru and ourselves, but When we are a devotee, as soon as with tilak and with the devotional dress and with kantimala, we not only representing ourselves, we are representing our guru and our parampara and the Supreme Lord himself. Because when we act, like driven by these modes of nature, anger, lust, greed, all those things, then persons who is seeing us, they think, "Arey, this person he claims to be a devotee of the Lord. He's in the mood of dasanudas, but still he's hankering after all these things. How can he be a devotee? If a devotee is like this, then Lord is also like that. And his guru, if this devotee is so duplicitous, then his guru parampara might also be like that. Or the somebody may actually judge even the Krishna himself. Hmm? Krishna and Krishna Bhaktas are all like this, only like that. Hmm? So basically, many ignorant people are out there who misunderstand the mercy of the Lord, who cannot understand the Janma and Karma, hmm, as the Divyam, means Janma Karma Chime Divyam. They cannot understand the birth and activities of the Lord properly. They misjudge and they develop some kind of negative impression towards the Supreme Lord. So when we act against the principles of dharma, against the principles of humanity and compassion, that will increase their no, negativity. Okay. So Svāyambhuva Manu advises, the Lord is pleased with his devotees if he is titikshaya, karunaya, maitreya, chakla, jantusu, samatvena cha sarvatma, bhagavan samprasidati. So what kind of devotees can please the Lord is a devotee, titiksha means is tolerant towards the seniors and and when ill treated by the envious. Okay, he is not only no amanina manadena means he should be, he not only treats well somebody who treats him gives him respect and treats him well, but if somebody insults him also, he is willing to give respect. We see the examples of Haridas Thakur, we see the examples of Nityananda Prabhu, all the Saint Srila Prabhupada, and many, all the exalted personalities, they displayed this characteristics, Didiksha, in their lives. And Karuna, Maitri towards inferiors and ignorant. So, and next quality is Maitreya, means friendly towards equals. And Samatvena, equal to everyone by considering their happiness and distress as their own. Okay. So, when one have these qualities, then that kind of devotee becomes very dear to the Supreme Lord Hari. Okay. So when the Lord is pleased, one becomes free from the gunas and from one's gross and subtle bodies. Then one achieves the Lord's abode. Okay. So we by ourselves cannot actually become free from Maya, be free from the three gunas. Only when the Lord is pleased with us, then Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Daivi heshu gunamayi mama maya duratya mame vaityaji prabhatyante maya mitam tarantite. My Maya is Daivi, is transcendental, my Maya is divine, and nobody can uh, get free from my Maya. But somebody who becomes surrender to me, somebody becomes becomes my devotee, that person, only that person can get free from the clutches of Maya. Maya mitam taranti. Okay. So for that to happen, we have to please the Lord with our behavior. What pleases the Lord? Titikshaya, Karunaya, Maitreya, Chakla, Jantashu. Samatvena cha Sarvatma. Bhagavan Samprasidati. Tolerance, being merciful towards others, and friendly to everybody, and equal to everybody. So these are the qualities which pleases the Lord. And when the Lord is pleased, one becomes free from the three gunas. Okay. Next, what? And finally, Svāyambhuva Manu comes into the mentions about the point. Okay, you are thinking that these yakshas killed your brother, and you wanted to punish that yaksha, and that's why you came to wage war against the yakshas. But you should understand there is there is higher principles acting on everybody. He says he starts from the creation. The five elements, the male and female bodies, are created by their interactions, and further male and female bodies are developed. So here Dhruva indirectly advised not to be afflicted by his brother's death because body relations are completely material. Hmm. Maintenance and destruction, like creation, takes place. Main, bodies takes sorry like creation takes place, maintenance and destruction of the bodies takes place by the action of the gunas through the Lord's Maya. Hmm? So the movement of the universe and its many causes and effects, like magnet indirectly causes movement of the iron. Okay, and the modes are agitated, and thus varieties of energies manifest. So basically, we discussed, right, how the creation takes place. The creation, this material creation, there are three modes of nature: mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Just like there are three colors: red, blue, and yellow. So this red, blue, and yellow, when they are mixed into different proportions, they give rise to different colors. In the same way, these three modes, mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance, when they are mixed in different ratio, proportions, they give to different types of personalities. Mode of if there is mode of goodness is dominant in a person, that person can be classified as a Brahmana. And mode of passion is dominant, then that person is Kshatriya. And mode of passion and ignorance are uh, mode of mode of passion is dominant, and considerable amount of mode of ignorance is also there. That person is kind of Vaishya. And mode of ignorance is prominent, and very little portions of mode of goodness and mode of passion. That kind of person is kind of Sudra. So basically, everything is Krishna says in Daivi Heshu Gunama Maya Duratya. No, not that one. Krishna says, Ahankara Vimudatma Kartaham iti manti. Uh, Even though everything is carried by the three modes of nature, only out of illusion, only due to under the impression of false ego, a living entity thinks that he is doing the activity. That is the principle here. Means here, Svāyambhuva Manu is saying, you don't think that somebody killed your brother. It is acting, everything is happening according to the universal principles. And how does the universal principles act? But these three modes under the direction of Mahamaya of the Lord. And Mahamaya is acting directly under the control of Lord himself. So basically, in one sense, Lord has already said to Dhruva that your brother will be killed and your stepmother will be killed. So these are the, like, even though when Dhruva was a small child, at that point of time, he considered his brother as a competition and his stepmother as his enemy because she insulted him. But still, due to out of material affection, he has the soft corner towards them. So that's why, like, it is Lord also knows that it is going to cause some pain to Dhruva in future. So Lord, in beforehand, he advised him. Just the way some doctor is treating some patient, and so doctor has to give some powerful injection to the patient, no? And when the doctor brings the injection, he says, okay, I'm going to give this injection, it's going to hurt you a little bit, be tolerant. So with this information given to the patient ahead of time, then patient will prepare himself. Okay, now I have to prepare himself to tolerate and I have to endure this pain so that I will get rid of this, my disease. So in the same way, Lord also says to Dhruva that you are going to have some pain when this happens in your life. Like that he says, okay. Why does Lord has to take so much concern about Dhruva's pain and pleasures? Is basically anybody who actually pleases the Lord, they're immediately entitled to go back to Godhead. Means he is a pure devotee, he performed pure bhakti, and he pleased the Lord, and Lord appeared in front of him. And after seeing the Lord, still for a person to, like, no, it's like uh, a prisoner in the jail, he did all good things. and he becomes eligible for liberation. He becomes for he can be released out of his jail term is finished because he with his good behavior and with his good conduct he already won the heart of the authorities. But still, he may have to remain some more time due to some formalities. So at that point of time, authorities see to that, no, like this person who is not worthy of this punishment of staying in this prison house. So they give him different kinds of comforts, and if there is any inconvenience that is going to happen, they will let him know. Okay, you just go with this inconveniences in your and then you will be released out of this prison. So in the same way, this material world is a prison house. You might be a richest person, you might be a poorest person, you might be most healthy and a successful person, you might be most unsuccessful person. There is suffering for everyone in this material world. This is dukkhalayam ashashritam. So one's suffering increases with the one's attachments. Okay. So when one have this kind of understanding, then one will be able to transcend the path of this material existence, means like take up the path of devotion service and transcend the modes of nature. Okay. So because Dhruva is eligible to go back to Vaikuntha, but still he has to go through all these suffering situations. Lord ahead of time he says, okay, you will be ruling 36,000 years, and after that you will have some difficulties also. Like that, Lord gives ahead of time. So, but still, because Dhruva under the because Dhruva was uh, under the due to his compassion towards his brother and his stepmother, and uh, he actually become bewildered. Okay, so momentary fall downs may happen in the life of devotees, but they will not remain uh, in the fallen state for long. They will be immediately revived by the Lord or his devotees. Okay. Now here in the case of Dhruva also, he momentarily he came under the influence of the material material relations, and he was acting. He was thinking, only my stepmother and my brother are my relatives, and the Dakshas are my enemies, like that. So at that time, the Lord then Svāyambhuva Manu says, "Don't think that somebody killed your brother." Hmm. At that time, Lord is indestructible, beginningless, and inexhaustible. Yet he causes birth and death for the living entities. So though Lord acts in this way, he cannot be accused for his injustice since he is neutral. So then Svāyambhuva Manu says, the Lord as the time is neutral towards all living entities. Everyone suffers and enjoys the results of one's own karma, but follow the time, just as the principles are carried by the wind. Thus, someone may have a long life or a short life, but Lord always remains transcendently situated. So now the things happening in your life, there are different philosophies that will explain. No? So there are different philosophies, no opinions of different philosophies about the dualities. See, in this world, we come across dualities, right? Sometimes pleasure, sometimes pain, sometimes heat, sometimes cold, sometimes praising, sometimes insulting. Hmm. So, how to explain, how to understand all these dualities is there are different philosophies. No? Mimamsakas, they say it is the law of karma, the fruit of your activities. Because you have done something good, you are enjoying good results. Because you have done something bad, you are enjoying you are suffering the bad. Sorry, because you have done something good, you are enjoying the good results, and because you have done something bad, you are suffering due to the bad reactions. And Lokaitas, the followers of Charvaka Muni, they say the Swabhava, the nature, because it is the nature of the this material world. As long as we are in this material world, the nature will always give us these suffering situations, and it is up to us how to, like he says, by borrow, beg, steal, however you may do, you try to be happy in this material world. That is Charvaka philosophy. And Vyavaharika, the followers of Puranas, they say the time is a cause. The time with the time, the time is like a flowing river. With the time, just the way sometimes high tide, sometimes low tide happens in the river. In the same way, in the flow of time, these happiness and distress situations comes. The dualities comes into our life. And astrologer says it is due to Daivam, due to different graphs of the planetary movements. Oh, because this Shani is in this house in your chart, that's why you're suffering like that, they say. And and Vatsayana means they say there are some people, some philosopher, they say it is due to Kama. Krishna says, right? Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajoguna Sabudbhava. Mahashuna, Mahapapma, Vidyena, Miha. So this Vatsayana says it is due to our tendency to enjoy independent of Lord, which is actually the cause of suffering cause of our suffering in this material existence. So like that, Svāyambhuva Manu explains the philosophy of life to Dhruva in using different philosophies. Okay, and finally he says, even though so many philosophers are there, no philosopher can understand the Lord's plan. Lord's plan, because ultimately everything, like you see somebody say law of karmas, all those things, right? Grahas, chakras, and all those things, but still it is ultimately in the hand of the Supreme Lord Krishna. He is unmanifested, transcendental, and the master of various energies. The followers of Kuvera, like he was addressing the Yakshas who are killed by the Dhruva. The followers of Kuvera are not the killers of your brother, for the Supreme Lord is the cause of birth and death. So now you are killing the Yakshas, but actually Yaksha didn't kill your brother. It is by the will of Supreme Lord everything happened. So, but still, even though you may say, okay, then when I say Lord, by the will of the Lord, your brother is killed, then you cannot go and fight with the Lord, because he's the Lord is unaffected. So Lord is the creator, maintainer, and destroyer of the universe, but he is never affected by the false ego, nor by the material modes in such activities. However, the Lord remains aloof from all these ego and all the modes of nature. So but he acts through his external energy. Lord, who is the super soul, controls, maintains, and annihilates due to by his external energy. Okay. And finally, he started instructing Dhruva, saying that you give up this anger and then surrender to the Lord. Okay. So surrender unto the Lord. Surrender unto Lord. He is the controller, uh, and he everything rests in his hand. Okay. He's surrendered to the Lord in all respects. Okay. He is both life for the devotees and death for the demons. Everyone is under the control, like the bull is controlled by the rope through his nose. So, and after saying that, no, you surrender to Lord, then Manu tries to invoke the mood that Dhruva Maharaj had when he was 5 years old. Because right at that point of time, he was distressed, he didn't have any position, he didn't have any name, fame, and he become very pure by following the instructions of Narada Muni. Uh, so just remember how you were when you were 5 years old, how you become very dear to Lord Hari by your devotional service and by your tapasya. So he says, at the age of 5, being afflicted by the harsh words of your stepmother, you entered the forest, engaged in austerity and worship of the Lord. Thus, achieved the topmost position in the three worlds. So you already achieved the topmost position in three worlds. Why do you want to again associate with all these material things and get polluted? And then says, therefore, turn your attention to the Lord, who is transcendental and uncontaminated. Thus, you will find the material differentiation to be mere flickering. So, and regaining your natural position and by rendering devotional service to the Lord, you will forget the illusion of I and mine. So give up your anger, is my follow my instructions, and you have to give up your anger, because anger is the foremost enemy of the path of self-realization and is detrimental for those who desires liberation and makes one a source of dreaded follower of others. Okay. Uh, so now, Svāyambhuva Manu mentions that you already have a boarding pass. Any point of time, you can go back to Godhead. So Prabhupada says, right, every one of the devotee who takes the shelter of Krishna, who chant the holy name of Krishna even once, they are going back to Godhead. But after how many lives? They may go back to Godhead after million lifetimes, or they may go back to Godhead after millions and trillions of Brahma's lifetimes, after millions and trillions of rebirth again and again. So that is as good as not having the benediction of going back to Godhead. The longer you stay in this material world, the more you contaminate it. More contamination you get. This happened with Dhruva also. Dhruva at the age of 5, he already got the supreme bliss, supreme blessing of from the Lord, and direct darshan of the Lord, which is very, very rare, even the very exalted devotees. But still, due to his association with the matter, he is acting very on the contrary to the uh, Vaishnava behavior. So if one, like, no, that's why Prabhupada says, no, like going back to Godhead is confirmed. But what our endeavors has to be is by chanting regularly, by following very Krishna conscious life, and by being very sincere in our sadhana, and by following the principles of devotion service, one will accelerate his chance of going back to Godhead. So Prabhupada says, most intelligent person is one who finishes all his bhakti process in one lifetime and goes back to Godhead by the end of this lifetime. Otherwise, one has to take repeated birth and again punarapi maranam, punarapi jananam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam. You will take, of course, somebody who takes the process of devotion service, they will again die, they will again take birth in devotion family, devotee family only. They will again get the chance there, and but they will again get the chance for them to get exposed to Maya in the lifetime, in that lifetime also. Again, they may take up that advantage of that lifetime, or they may not be able to take advantage of that lifetime. So that's why when we are conscious, when we got this opportunity, we should utilize, we should make full use of it, of this life, do everything for the pleasure of Krishna merely, and chant the holy name of Krishna, follow the instructions of spiritual master, and take initiation. By doing so, spiritual master himself take the personal responsibility of the that person to go back to take him back to Godhead. So that is the most intelligent person. Otherwise, somebody who just listens and somebody who just does nothing about it. See, like by listening, by having the knowledge, it won't happen. We have to act on that. We have to implement the knowledge of Krishna consciousness in their life. Of course, it may not be possible in one day to totally become Krishna conscious, but we should have back of our mind the main goal of our life is to become fully Krishna conscious and finish off my job of being in the material world and go back to Godhead in this lifetime. When you have such a kind of to have such kind of conviction, one should regularly practice their sadhana, their seva, their swadhyaya, and they have to take proper sangha, and they have to have proper sadachar, the 5 S principles. So then only one will make a rapid progress in the devotion service, and by the end they'll have the chance to go back to Godhead. Here, Dhruva Maharaj already had the opportunity to go back to Godhead, but how, like, to make it to happen sooner, he has to renounce this false ego, renounce his this violence, unnecessary violence, and he says, like, these yakshas whom you are killing are the followers of Kuvera, and Kuvera is the brother of Lord Shiva himself. So if you are picking up quarrels with Kuvera, or if you are developing enmity with the yakshas, you will develop enmity with the Kuvera. And if you develop enmity with Kuvera, you will develop enmity with Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is Vaishnavana Metashambha. He is the He's the greatest of the Devata in the material world, and he is the great, foremost among the Vaishnavas. So, if you displease any Vaishnava, then our chance of pleasing the Lord will be lost, because we'll immediately become exposed to Maya, and Maya will capture us. There is a famous saying by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj: Maya seizes the offender. So, if you knowingly or unknowingly offend any devotee, then the reaction that we get is we will be immediately kept under the influence of Maya. So, we should be very, very careful in our dealings, and be very conscious and cautious. That is the aspect of sadachar, and keep these 5 years, and stress on this. Okay, am I doing all these 5 years things properly or not? Then we'll have a chance to go back to Godhead in this lifetime. Okay, we'll end it here. Anybody have any questions or comments? You can take it.
Oh, yeah, Hare Krishna, Dhanantanam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Nice class, Prabhu, as always. Oh, one question. You said that Kubera was brother of Shiva. I thought that he was brother of Ravana, right?
Here in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said brother also. I don't know, like maybe brother. See, brother, Shiva appeared through the Brahma, right? And also, so it's like in distance. Actually, Kuvera is a devotee of Shiva.
A devotee of Shiva.
Great
Okay.
devotee of Lord Shiva. But
Okay.
in other sense also, he can be a brother, because Brahma is the father of every living entity, right?
So Kubera is the son of Brahma.
Kuvera, I'm not sure, but that is a statement from
I thought
Srimad Bhagavatam.
So Ravan is brother is Kubera, right? I think.
So don't Ravana is brother of Kuvera, and they are coming from different lineages, right? And all lineages end up with start with Brahma only, right? In the material world. So, like, it is better we don't focus so much on details. There will be some Purana, but as per Bhagavatam statement, Bhagavatam line, we can consider actually, instead of brother, you can consider devotee of Shiva. Okay. Here the principle is he is connected to Lord Shiva, and he there is a chance that Lord Shiva get displeased. Okay.
Yes.
So it's 35. Okay. Pacific, where gentlers by horseback, not family. Okay. Here it says, Pacify Kuvera, thinking Yakshas to be killers of your brother, you kill the recklessly that disrespecting against the mind of disrespected and agitated the mind of Kuvera, the brother of Lord Shiva. Okay, let us see in the actual Prabhupada's. Okay. I also hear for the first time that Kuvera is the brother of Lord Shiva. I also hear
Yeah, I
that,
knew that he was a
but those are
devotee of.
those are details. So that's why I didn't research it. But Jenya, we can look one more time. We can, so that we get
Yeah,
free
and
from
this is
the
for my
doubts.
is irrelevant, but sometimes if people ask
Yeah.
question, then it's more for uh, how to answer, right? If somebody asks this question.
Yeah. That's okay. I'll let you know. I'll just read, okay? 33, 34. What's number 34? My dear Dhruva, you thought that the Yakshas killed your brother, and therefore you killed the great numbers of them. But by this action, you have agitated the mind of Lord Shiva's brother Kuvera. So, Lord Shiva's brother Kuvera, who is treasurer of the demigods. So please note that your actions have been very disrespectful to Kuvera and Lord Shiva. So Srimad Bhagavatam itself writes, Kuvera is can be considered as brother of Lord Shiva. That's why their dealings are very intimate, Kuvera and Lord Shiva. Okay, it's like we heard the story, right? Kuvera goes to invite Lord Shiva for for dinner, and then Lord Shiva says, "I cannot come. I will take my son Ganesha." So he says, I prepared such a grand feast, for the sake of all the people, and this one boy, what will he eat? Like that he thought, no. And Ganesha ate everything and says, I want more, more. Then Kuvera came running back to Lord Shiva, Babu, yeah, your son ate everything and he wanted more. What can I do? Like that. And that time Mother Parvati gave some leaf and I said, go and offer this leaf to Ganesha. And Ganesha, after having that leaf, he is completely satisfied. So
I heard this.
that kind of
Yeah,
intimate pastimes are happening between Kubera and Lord Shiva. Okay?
I heard this story long time ago.
Yes, yes. Okay, anybody have any more questions?
Prabhuji, nice summary, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, so if Dhruva would have not killed, attack, yakshas, then people would have they would have assumed that he still had a bad feeling, right, for his brother.
No, it's
So
not
he did
like.
right?
No, actually, if you see Dhruva, also Dhruva, he goes and he knows the conch in the in front of the city of Yakshas. So at that point of time, if the Yakshas would have come in the mode of surrender, mode of peace, then it would have been sorted out nice then and there nicely. But what did the Yakshas do? They are Kshatriyas. So when somebody challenges, they wanted to show their valor, show their power. So they came in fighting spirit, and they started attacking Dhruva first. And when they started attacking Dhruva first, Dhruva has to respond with his arrows. So in one sense, Dhruva is not at fault also, but Dhruva is taking that fight to different level, means out of proportion. They say overkill.
Right.
So that's why Svāyambhuva Manu has to enter and then pacify Dhruva. So, but and it is predicted. See, everything happens by Lord's plan. Okay, Lord already predicted that your brother is going to be killed by the Yakshas, and you will be and your stepmother is going to meet death like this.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, that's true. The Lord already predicted, right?
I also heard the what Manmohan Prabhu said in recently in one of the class. I don't know, somewhere, I don't remember where I heard, but in the Acharya said the same thing, that Dhruva took the fight to remove the misunderstanding from people.
Like what?
With Yaksha.
What kind of listen? What kind of listen?
People thought that Dhruva disliked his brother Uttama.
No,
and now Uttama has died.
These are concoctions. They are like made up
this
stories.
Is from Acharya. This is from Acharya, like our in parampara. Yeah, from our
maybe
parampara.
that might not be the important role.
Yeah, but it is one of the. I heard from Gauranga Darshan Prabhu only somewhere, but he said that some of the
maybe
Acharya.
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who can actually goes deeply into the the mood of the devotees. Yeah, he might have given that. If he has given it, then it might be it should be true.
No, it is
so there are different ways of analyzing the pastimes of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, like if it is given by Acharya, we should accept it. And there might be a purpose also. Because Dhruva completely forgave his stepbrother and stepmother, and he totally loved his brother also. He has no enemy towards his brother. That might be indication also. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Any here?
Yes.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Sri Prabhupada ki. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.